1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show.
Bank holiday, and different countries have different numbers of bank holidays. What would you be commemorating, or what would you call the bank holiday? We start with you, Gladys.
I didn't get that quite clearly. What would I call a bank holiday?
Yeah, if you could have a new bank holiday, I don't know how many bank holidays you actually have. Where things close down, actually, the banks particularly close down. Yeah, but if you could have a new one,
I actually wonder why they call it bank holiday. Ever since I've been in England, I've wondered why. Why is it a bank holiday? Why call it a bank holiday? Any other name but bank?
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, on a Sunday, banks tend not to open either. But I think it was because banks didn't open on a Monday or Friday, or because it was a weekday that the bank holiday was on. So not every country some call it public holiday or whatever, but we tend to say bank holiday. What about you, Cuz? If you could have a new one, Cuz, what would you commemorate? What would you call it? What would you celebrate?
I would like to record. Yeah.
Go on, bro.
All right. So I would like to recognize all the disabilities put into one. So it'd be a national disability day where different unseen disabilities are recognized, where people have disabilities that are not visible, and they just recognized. I think that's what I would call mine.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think if I were doing that, I'd say I'd like to copy what they do in the USA and have a Thanksgiving holiday. In America, I think they have their Thanksgiving weekend just before, at the end of November. And by all accounts, it's a bigger celebration even than Christmas in America. But I think it's true. I think we know that life is stressful for most of us sometimes. Not always great, but it makes a bank holiday for Thanksgiving would make us stop and think, actually, there's a heck of a lot of good things going on in my life and as a country and so on. We all have problems, but Thanksgiving, I think we could have. Interestingly, we have probably the fewest bank holidays in Europe. We have 8, I think. I think Scotland has 9. They have another day at New Year's. But if you go down, I think the Euro average is 12 to 13 days. Cyprus has 15, Spain has 14, whereas England is the lowest, along with the Netherlands. We have 8 or 9. Japan has 16, USA has 11. So yeah, bank holidays, public holidays are quite an interesting thing. Now, the next question to you both. Do you have a weird, perhaps useless talent you secretly love having? Is there anything you do that you think you're quite good at? I'll give you my example to sort of set it up. Something I think my dad taught me when I was a kid, to pull a piece of grass out of the ground and you put it between your thumbs. You make a little sort of a reed situation. You blow on your thumbs and this really loud screeching sound comes out. In fact, I think I taught my own kids and my grandchildren, Kimberly and Lucy, that they can all do this. If we're walking through a field, everyone's grabbing a piece of grass and it's a really loud sound. We compete to see who's the loudest. So that's my useless talent. What's yours, Cuz?
Mine is not so useless, actually, because I don't think it qualifies as useless, but I'll tell you anyway. When I'm walking on the street and this
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's hosted by Cuz. He'll introduce the gang who'll make the show go with a bang, with fun.
And there's slabs, all these slabs, I can count them. I count the slabs, and I never miss it. Now that might be bordering on the line of OCD, but you know, so I'm good at counting slabs. I can tell you how many slabs. Yeah.
Do you step over the lines of the slabs? Because a bit like hopscotch.
Sometimes it gets tricky because sometimes you don't have a full slab, you have a half one. And what I do is I put the half in my head, so I count the half as a half, and then I look for another half to make it whole. Incredible.
As you say, a touch of the OCD going on there, I think. What about you, Gladys? Do you have any useless talents? Gladys, can you hear me? Are you receiving me?
Weird. But I know for a fact that I love training. I love to train, I love to talk, I love to counsel, and I've never really worked on the talent. I have a skill of making people calm.
Yeah.
Seeing things they don't see in conversations. I could de-escalate easily. And I just loved to train and I loved to help people see reason. I've never really worked on that though. I've been told many times in my life I should be doing that. I should be a lecturer, I should be a counselor, I should, never really. But then it's not useless because I joined Royal, what was that one I joined when I came in? One of the volunteer thing, I'll go back again now, Royal Responders. And I used to have times when I speak with people who are home and bored. I speak to some really aged ones, and it was so hard, getting off that call with them. I loved it, and they were happy too. Especially when they struggle to hear me, that's where the phone comes in. And they're like, the color person talking to me.
Well,
and they can't hear a word. And then I'm like, okay, I can see you can't hear. So I'll be really slow. Let's play a game. Can you hear me? That's the name of the game. And we could be there 1 hour plus playing that game. It's lovely. I like it.
Yeah, well, that's the very opposite of useless. I mean, it's a very productive and caring thing to do, isn't it? It really is. Okay, next one for you, Cuz.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge you've overcome in your life?
The biggest challenge I've overcome in my life is being able to stay calm. Being able to stay calm when I should be really stressing. So I have been able to overcome that.
Yeah. How did you overcome it then? What did you do?
I just tell myself that it's never as bad as my mind makes it out to be. And I just say to myself, remember the last time when it was in a similar, not similar, but in a sort of a situation. And can you remember that? Can you remember how you got out of it? How did you get out of that situation? Because you thought you would never get out of that situation. And I just console myself with that. The fact that I was able to do it when I thought I couldn't do it multiple times. Yeah. So that's,
Gladys, what about you, Gladys? What biggest challenge have you overcome? Are you still
you're mute.
Gladys?
You're on mute. You're on mute, Gladys. Okay.
I have a lot of biggest challenges using my hands. That's another sign. A lot of biggest challenges. So I'm trying to choose which one. I do not suffer fools lightly. I do not have patience for mediocre. I'm learning to be patient now. And I've done really good job of it. I could actually stay still and watch someone fall. You come into me right back at your face. But now, England, Sincerely, I think that is the biggest I've been able to overcome.
Yeah.
Well, this is all we've got
It's
time
sad,
And
for.
it's
it's
been
sad
a
to
hard
hear.
one.
Hope,
Yeah.
hope. Oh, right, we're out. Okay.
Right, so this is all we've got time for. Can everyone hear
Sorry,
me?
are we finished?
Yes. This is all we've got time for. You've been listening
Yes, we can.
and watching the Alien Spaceship with myself, Emmy Hikins, and he calls me he does calls me bro. Yeah.
And me, Trevor Gear, and I call you cuz. You call me bruv.
Yeah.
I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv. And that's Gladys, and we say that's lovely Gladys.
Yeah. So it's a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me
Goodbye
too.
for me.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's hosted by Cuz. He'll introduce the gang who'll make the show go with a bang.